Welcome back. It's really cold out. I just had the diesel heater cranked, but good news, it was parts day today. We got gaskets. Woo! Let's pull the second engine out. This is Rebuilding Slainte. Yes, very hype on these new gasket sets. I got both of them for both engines because we are going to drop the oil pans on the two. Wait, where's the second one? Oh yeah, we're about to pull that. But I'm going to redo the gaskets on these things, redo some of the wiring. We're going to get them dialed up and cleaned up. And we're going to get this thing in the water. So let's pull this thing. That's not going to work.
Let's do it!
We did it. Port, starboard, port, starboard. Now a bunch of cleaning and more disassembly. And then the fun really begins. But holy crap, it worked. I didn't break anything. I have all my fingers, all my toes. I didn't smash the boat. The Franken crane, as we've dubbed it, worked out perfectly fine. Booger welds and all. But yeah, time for a beer. I'll catch you guys in a couple of, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday night. probably come down here and do some vacuuming and cleaning, and we'll talk about the next plan. Because soon, we've got to put that sapile that's buried underneath there. We got to put that to work. Also, that's going to be a future video. Santa was very nice to me this year.
3 days later.
It's a few days later, and I got tired of stepping around mess and dirt and water and whatever else came out of that bilge and whatever's on the floor in my Kwanzaa hut. So I decided to go through and clean up the deck a little bit and get a bunch of that grime and dirt off and try to make my workspace a little bit more cleaner, as you can see right here.
Hey, there's a neighborhood's worth of leaves down here, so I'm just gonna clean those up quick. So after a little bit of vacuuming, a little bit of scrubbing, a little bit of swearing, and a little bit of a wet butt, I have mostly vacuumed the bilge. What we need to do is set up a fan right here because there's still some grease and grime on either side of these engine beds. And I want to just dry it out so I can just vacuum it because that's easier. But for real, if you haven't watched any of the earlier videos, you can see that this section of the midships bulkhead, as well as the engine beds, hey, how we doing? There's a hole. Okay. Where there's not supposed to be one. And on this side, it is starting to fail as well. So that's why we've got to pull these engine beds out. Luckily, they're not fiberglass to the stringers. They're fiberglass to this midships bulkhead and then the cabin bulkhead. But luckily, it's just a couple of bolts here, and then if you kick it hard enough, this thing will probably just pop right out. And we're going to use these originals here for the templates for our new one, since we're putting the same engines back in, but we're going to give them a tune-up. But yeah, this one is severely failing. Starboard motor is just, engine bed is just in disarray.
So now that we got the port motor out, what I did with the starboard motor that you didn't see, I'm doing now with the port motor, is I went through with my air compressor as well as my vacuum, and I just blew out all of the dirt, the dust. There was a lot of rust flakes in there. It's amazing what just can accumulate, you know, over 40 years. This thing's been nestled in its engine compartment and just been slowly deteriorating over time. But we're going to bring her back. And so I'm just blowing off all of the rust particles, and then I took the vacuum and I vacuumed a lot of it off as well. The big thing here is any dirt is going to hold moisture. Anything that's organic usually holds moisture, and that's what causes rust. And we don't want any more rust on these things. So just getting all of that off and getting it cleaned up, and if I can get a fan on them and I can just get air circulating on all of these, it will really help to just dry them out, and it'll just be a better product overall. Anyways, they're not soaked and saturated. It's not like these things sank. They're actually in really good working condition, which is awesome. It's just trying to better their situation. You know, putting lipstick on a pig. There, I said it.
I'm going ahead and spraying everything down with WD-40 because I just blew off all of the junk and crud and corrosion that was on this engine. So now I'm just gonna give it some love with some lubricant and let that soak in, because we're gonna have to take off, in order to replace this glow plug here, we're gonna have to take off all of the fuel lines, and we're gonna have to disconnect them from the injectors. We don't have to disconnect, we don't have to remove this one, but we're gonna at least have to remove this and all of the fuel lines from the injectors. And then this entire assembly will have to come off of the injector pump, and then these will all come off, pull back, and that'll actually be nice because we can wire brush some of that. And then we can paint it up, clean it up. We can get all this in here painted nice and clean. We can get the fuel pump all cleaned up. And we can go from there. But yeah, this glow plug is gonna be really tricky. There's a few of them in here as well. And that's why this WD-40 is getting sprayed on there, because I wanna lubricate up a bunch of these threads here and just let that soak for a few weeks, because I don't know when I'm gonna order those. I might order them soon, but I'm not sure when I'm gonna start stripping this down. It's either gonna be, let's start the motors, or let's start some engine beds. Haven't decided yet. Well, I think that's where I'm going to end it this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next time, maybe we'll crack into this. Maybe we'll crack into engine beds. Or I actually think what we're going to do next video is probably empty out the boat, because I need to take inventory of what's even on here, as well as what doesn't need to be on here, as well as just vacuum everything out and get it cleaned. And then I need to work on making this kind of like a clean working area, if that makes sense, because I'm tracking in mud and I'm just like etching at the decks. If you didn't notice, I changed my shoes mid-video to those camo things, and that's because I turned those into my boat working shoes. So that's why I'm doing that, and I think I might continue to do that because it's actually kind of helpful. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.